Welcome back to All 4C Learning, session 35. In previous session, we learned methods of preparation of both geminal dihalides and vicinal dihalides. In this method, we are going to discuss physical properties of geminal and vicinal dihalides and also chemical properties. When you come to physical properties, lower dihaloalkanes are colorless, sweet-smelling liquids. Lower dihaloalkanes, whether it is a geminal or a vicinal, because of these are isomeric, they are having similar properties. That's why lower dihaloalkanes are having colorless liquids with sweet smelling. Sir, how do you say sweet smell? Sweet taste we know. How you can say sweet smell? Sweet smell means once you take that, once you inhale that smell, you want to take one more time. That what we call pleasant or sweet smelling liquids. Whereas higher homologous are solids. Lower ones are liquids, colorless and sweet smelling. Whereas higher ones are solids. And boiling points of these compounds are higher than corresponding alkanes. Because of molecular mass increases, instead of hydrogen we are going to replace with chlorine or bromine, which are heavier. Hence, with increase in molecular mass, boiling point also increases, melting point also increases, and densest. These are heavier than water. These are heavier than water and more denser than water. Here, almost after mercury, then heaviest liquid is CH2I2, methylene iodide. This one is high, means specific gravity is very high, 3.36. Specific gravity means out of liquids, densest liquid, heaviest liquid is this one, we can say. Let's come to chemical properties. Chemical properties of geminal and vicinal dihalides resembles the properties of alkyl halides. So how we learn the properties and the same or similar way here also we are going to write. Let us see. I am going to first consider CH3CHClCl. This one is ethylene chloride, means geminal dihalide. This one upon treatment with aqueous KOH. As we know that aqueous KOH is used for nucleophilic substitution reaction. Here Cl minus displaced by OH. Then what product we are getting? CH3CH, and instead of 2 chlorines, 2 OH groups. So here you should remember one point. If any carbon possess 2 OH groups, such compound is unstable. I am repeating. If any carbon possess 2 or more OH groups, that compound is unstable. That means this one is unstable. So unstable, it prefer to convert readily into aldehyde by using water, CH3 C double bond OH. So we are getting carbonyl compound from divols. Jump divols are highly unstable. Jump divols are not like jump dihalides. Jump dihalides are stable, but jump divols are highly unstable. They readily loses water and converts into carbonyl compound. Either maybe aldehydes or ketones. So in this case, we are getting acetaldehyde. So if you consider ethylene chloride, upon reaction with aqueous KOH, we are getting jump divol. Jump divol is highly unstable. It readily loses water molecule and converts into acetaldehyde. Fine. Sir, is there any case to stabilize these jump divols? Yes. With respect to this OH group containing carbon, next carbon. So here we can say this is alpha and this is beta. So this is functional carbon, this is alpha carbon, like that. Means with respect to functional carbon, second carbon, if second carbon is attached to more electron withdrawing groups, strong electron withdrawing groups, in such a case this can be stabilized. So it is very clear, there is no provision for stability of divols. They readily converts into aldehydes. But if you want to keep stabilized that product, what happens? Presence of electron withdrawing groups like CF3 group, NO2 group, such groups must. Presence of electron withdrawing groups only can stabilize germ divols. Otherwise, it immediately loses water. Let us see here. If I am going to consider propylene chloride, CH3CCl, CH3, upon treatment with aqueous KOH, here what happens? Cl will be displaced by CH3. Then we are getting CH3, COH and OH. This one also germ divol. As we learned that germ divol is highly unstable, it immediately loses water and converts into CH3, C double bond O CH3, which is acetone. That means 1,1-dichloroethane gives aldehyde, 1,2,2-dichloropropane gives ketones. Means it produces both aldehydes and ketones. Simply we can say carbonyl compounds. The same if we consider vicinal dihalides, CH2Cl, CH2Cl. This one upon treatment with aqueous KOH, so nucleophilic substitution reaction will take place. Then we are getting CH2OH and CH2OH. This one is vicinal divol. Vicinal divols. Vicinal divols can stabilize. So germ divols are unstable, but vis divols are stable. So these divols, vicinal divols are called glycols. Vicinal divols are called glycols. In glycol, 2 carbons are there, that what we call ethylene glycol, and if 3 carbon atoms are there, that what we call propylene glycol. Ethylene glycol or propylene glycol. Hope you got a point here. So if you consider CH3, CHCl and CH2Cl, this is what we call 1,2 dichloropropane. In case of 1,2 dichloropropane upon treatment with aqueous KOH, we are getting propylene glycol, CH3, CHOH and CH2OH. This is what we call the propylene glycol, ethylene glycol, propylene glycol, like that. So instead of this aqueous KOH, when we are using alcoholic KOH, what happens? Instead of aqueous KOH, if we are using alcoholic KOH, as we know that alcoholic KOH is used for dehydrohalogenation. So ClCl means ethylene chloride. This one upon treatment with alcoholic KOH, beta elimination takes place. Means chlorine from this carbon, hydrogen from this carbon, then HCl will be eliminated out. Then we are getting product CH2 double bond CHCl. So this again nothing but vinyl chloride. This formed vinyl chloride again upon reaction with alcoholic KOH. Alcoholic KOH. Then what happened here? HC triple bond CH means again dehydrohalogenation. So for second time dehydrohalogenation compared to alcoholic KOH, sodamide in liquid ammonia is far better. Sodamide in liquid ammonia is far better for second time. And if you consider this one as a 1,2 dichloro, 1,2 dichloroethane, 1,2 dichloroethane upon treatment with alcoholic KOH, again you are getting product vinyl chloride. See here, either 1,1 dichloro or 1,2 dichloroethane, either of these two upon dehydrohalogenation we are getting intermediate as vinyl chloride. Vinyl chloride intermediate. From that vinyl chloride, if you do one more time dehydrohalogenation, we are getting again acetylene. Means whatever the starting substrates, you are getting the products remains the same. Now you need to practice for 2,2 dichloro. What happened? 2,2 dichloropropane. This one upon treatment with alcoholic KOH, 2 times dehydrohalogenation. What happened? Which product you are going to get? Check out. And 2,3 means 1,2 dichloropropane. 1,2 dichloropropane upon dehydrohalogenation. What product? Final product you are getting. What product? Final product you are getting. Check out. So for this dehydrohalogenation, alcoholic KOH also not necessary, even though we are giving heat. As we know that elimination reactions are thermodynamic reactions. When we are providing more heat energy, then obviously elimination takes place. That means the same reaction CH3, CH, Cl and Cl 1,1 dichloroethane upon heating up to 400 degrees Celsius. Upon heating up to 400 degrees Celsius, we are getting vinyl chloride. This vinyl chloride further heating up to 400 degrees Celsius, we are getting acetylene. So same reaction we are going to we are going to perform even in absence of alcoholic KOH, and instead of that we can use high temperature 400 degrees Celsius. Here also dehydrohalonization takes place either from 1,2-dichloro or 1,2-dichloroethane or 1,2-dichloropropane or 1,1-dichloroethane or 1,1-dichloropropane, whatever it may be, 2,2-dichloropropane, whatever it may be, reaction is similar. So in this method, these are the chemical properties, and few more chemical properties we will learn. So with aqueous KOH, alcoholic KOH, upon heating we learn reaction. Now reaction with zinc. Reaction with zinc. Let us see here. Ethylene chloride CH3CHClCl upon reaction with zinc. As we learned that formation of Grignard reagent, alkyl halide upon reaction with magnesium metal in presence of dry ether gives alkyl magnesium halide. That compound we are going to say organometallic compound. So what are organometallic compounds again? The compounds in which carbon directly attached to metal. Okay. Here with the zinc again, similar reaction. Upon reaction with zinc, what happened here? Cl containing carbon attached to zinc, CH3CHCl, ZnCl. So when carbon attached to metal, what happened? Being a metal, it obviously loses electron, it is going to bear positive charge, and here carbon is going to get negative charge. And what happened here? This Cl has to come out. Then we are getting CH3CH. This what we call the carbene, ZnCl2. What we are getting? Carbene. After formation of this carbene, such carbenes too, they may join and forms double bond containing compound, means alkene, or in other words, one more thing may happen here. CH3, two electrons, right? Now here from here hydride shift takes place. Then we are getting CH2 plus and CH2 minus. Repeating one more time. Listen carefully here. After formation of Grignard reagent, metal is going to bear positive charge and carbon gets negative charge, right? Because of C, Zn bond is going to break. C, Zn bond is going to break. Finally, metal gets positive charge, carbon gets negative charge. After that, Cl has to come out as Cl minus. That Cl minus combined with the ZnCl plus and comes out as ZnCl2. And what remains here? CH3CH, 2 electrons. Means 2 electrons are there, 2 bond pairs are there. With 2 electrons means bivalent carbon is nothing but carbene. So carbenes are neutral, electron deficient, bivalent species. So here this one is carbene. After formation of carbene, what happened? 2 carbenes are going to combine like this. CH3, CH, 2 electrons and CH, 2 electrons, CH3. By combining these two, we are getting CH3, CH, double bond, CH, CH3. So you may get like this product. Or else, here what happened? One of the hydride transfer takes place from adjacent carbon, resultant. Here this carbon acquires positive charge, this carbon acquires negative charge. Nothing but this is CH2 double bond, CH2. So, when we are considering ethylene chloride with zinc and heat, in presence of heat, we are getting ethene as product. Okay. Now, what happened if 1,2-dichloroethane we consider? If 1,2-dichloroethane upon reaction with zinc and heat, what happened? Same reaction. Just like CH2Cl and this CH2, here what happened? ZnCl, because carbon metal bond formation takes place at what we call organometallic compound. This organometallic compound zinc is going to lose electron, that's why it acquires partial positive charge and this acquires negative charge, right? And this negative charge when goes like that, Cl minus has to come out. Then final product is again CH2 double bond, CH2 plus ZnCl2. So upon reaction with the zinc, we are getting these products. Check out here what happened in case of CH3CClCl and CH3. CH3CCl, Cl, CH3. 2,2-dichloropropane or propylene chloride upon reaction with the zinc. What happened? One of the Cl bond is converted to C, ZnCl, and it leave away and hydride transfer. So check out the reaction what happened in case of 2,2-dichloropropane, and similarly 1,2-dichloropropane also what happened reaction. with a zinc metal, what reaction proceeds? Here 2, 2 dichloropropane, 1, 2 dichloropropane. I think 1, 2 dichloropropane is very easy. ZnCl and formation of double bond. And in case of 2, 2 dichloropropane, again two possibilities are there, right or not? Because of you are getting a carbene, right? This carbene to this carbene, one more carbene is joined, then you are getting product. You are getting product. What product? 2, 3 dimethyl 2-butene. 2, 3 dimethyl 2-butene are the products. And one more, if the dimerization do not happen, then hydride shift and double bond formation here. Okay, I am writing the products and check out how you are getting and what mechanism it proceeds. Similar to that one only, CH3 CH double bond CH2 plus one more CH3 CH3. This carbene is going to join with combined with one more carbene. You are getting this product. And try this one. One methylene dichloride means CH2Cl2. One is ethylene dichloride CHCl2. Methylene dichloride CH2Cl2 and ethylene chloride CH3CHCl2. When these two combine, when these two mixture upon heating with zinc, this one is the previous day equation. What happened here? Again you are getting here carbene and here carbene. Now possibilities. These two carbenes may join, you are getting ethene product, and these two carbenes you join, then finally you are getting 2-butene product, and one this carbene and one this carbene are going to join. Ultimately you are getting propene product. So 3 possible products are there. Okay, write down. And next one, upon reaction with KCN. So how reaction proceed with KCN? This gem and this, let us see. Reaction with alcoholic KCN. How reaction proceeds here? Let us see. Let us consider gem dihalide 1, 1 dichloroethane. Upon reaction with KCN, in alcohol medium, nothing but a nucleophilic substitution reaction. Since Cn minus cyanide ion is stronger nucleophile than Cl minus, hence strong nucleophile can easily displace weak nucleophile. So we are getting product CH3, CHCN and Cn. That is ethylene chloride, and the product is ethylene cyanide. IUPAC name 2-methyl 1,3 propane dinitrile. Here 1, 2, 3, 2-methyl propane 1,3 dinitrile. This one upon hydrolysis, we are getting CH3, CH. As we learned in previous classes, cyanides upon hydrolysis converts into carboxylic acids. So here you are getting dicarboxylic acid, and with respect to the C double bond O functional carbon, this is alpha carbon and this is beta carbon. This is beta dicarboxylic acid. Remember, beta keto acids, beta dicarboxylic acids, and beta gamma unsaturated carboxylic acids. I am repeating: beta dicarboxylic acids, beta keto acids, and beta gamma unsaturated carboxylic acids undergoes decarboxylation upon heating, even though without using any decarboxylating agent. Generally for decarboxylation we need to use a decarboxylating agent. What is decarboxylating agent? Soda lime. Soda lime is a mixture of sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide, right? So even though we are not providing such decarboxylating agent, here decarboxylation takes place simply upon heating. Only upon heating decarboxylation takes place, and one of the COOH comes out as CO2. Let us see how the reaction proceeds. Here OH, these electron shifts like this, then CH3, CH. Here this H comes here, CH2, C double bond OOH. So we are getting a propanoic acid, right? Decarboxylation. During decarboxylation, CO2 left, and you are getting propanoic acid. And this one is alpha methyl propane dicarboxylic acid. Actually, dicarboxylic acid, we know that Ohm's gap 0, 1, 2. So here in between two COOH group, here one carbon is there. If 0 carbons are there, oxalic acid, malonic acid. If 1 carbon is there, 2 carbons are there, succinic acid, like that, glutamic acid, adipic acid, like that, right? So here in between two COOH group, only 1 carbon is there. That is malonic acid, and this one is methyl malonic acid. Methyl malonic acid. So reaction, shall we repeat one more time? Ethylene chloride or 1,1-dichloroethane upon reaction with alcoholic KCN. Here a nucleophilic substitution takes place. Cl will be displaced by Cn, and we are getting propane, 2-methyl propane 1,3 trinitrile, which upon hydrolysis, as we learned cyanides upon hydrolysis, we are getting carboxylic acids, we are getting dicarboxylic acid, that name is methyl malonic acid. Methyl malonic acid is nothing but beta dicarboxylic acid, beta dicarboxylic acid, beta keto acid, beta gamma unsaturated carboxylic acids undergoes decarboxylation simply upon heating, even though without using any decarboxylating agent. Hence we are getting a propanoic acid. Propanoic acid. Here, if we consider vicinal dihalide instead of geminal, means 1,2-dichloroethane, which upon treatment with KCN entrance of ethyl alcohol, here also nucleophilic substitution reaction takes place. We are getting CH2CN and CH2CN, butane 1,4 dinitrile. Butane 1,4 dinitrile, this one, butane 1,4 dinitrile. This butane 1,4 dinitrile upon acid hydrolysis means hydrolysis in presence of carboxylic acid. Then what happened here? CH2, Cn will be converted into COOH, Cn will be converted into COOH. So here butane 1,4 dioic acid, this one, butane 1,4 dinitrile upon hydrolysis, we are getting butane 1,4 dioic acid, butane 1,4 dioic acid upon heating. Here it undergoes dehydration, losing of water OH and H. Then we are getting anhydride CH2. Here C double bond O, O. See here, this also called in between two carboxylic acid, 2 carbons are there. If 2 carbons are there, that is called succinic acid. Its name also called succinic acid. Succinic acid upon heating, it do not undergo any decarboxylation. Here succinic acid undergoes dehydration, and the product what we are getting is succinic anhydride. Succinic anhydride. So this reaction we can use to distinguish 1,1-dichloroethane and 1,2-dichloroethane. Which substrate is 1,1-dichloroethane and which substrate is 1,2-dichloroethane, that we can clearly distinguish. Hope you got the point. In case of 1,1-dichloroethane, we are getting methyl, 2-methyl, 1,3 butane nitrile, which upon hydrolysis we are getting beta dicarboxylic acid, which upon heating loses carbon dioxide, decarboxylation takes place, and final product is propanoic acid. Whereas in case of 1,2-dichloro, we are getting butane 1,4 dinitrile, which upon hydrolysis we are getting succinic acid, and from that we are getting succinic anhydride. Now check out here what products you are going to get if we consider 1,2-dichloropropane. 1,2-dichloropropane upon treatment with KCN excess alcohol medium, and 2,2-dichloropropane upon treatment with KCN alcoholic. So what products we are going to get? Check out. These are the methods of chemical properties of vicinal and geminal dihalides.